Joining us now from Los Angeles is singer, dancer, and social media star Montana Tucker. Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your visit here in Israel. Tell us, first of all, please, about the decision to come.
Yeah, so since October 7th, have taken over my social media to post about Israel, to post about what is happening, what happened, what is currently happening. A year ago, I made a Holocaust educational series called How to Never Forget about what happened during the Holocaust. And I've dedicated my life and my platform to combating anti-Semitism and all forms of hate throughout the year. And now to be here a year later and what happened on October 7th, I knew that just me posting wasn't enough. And I had to physically go to Israel, be there, meet with hostages that were released, meet with families of hostages that are still in captivity in Gaza, and meet with survivors of the festival of the kibbutz. I went to kibbutz Faraza, and just my whole trip I dedicated to meeting as many people I can so that I could share their stories, their personal stories on my social media.
Before we talk about the visit, tell me, when did you understand that despite the atrocities, despite the massacre, the world is not with us and there's a big challenge online?
You know what? It's always a challenge. Even when I posted my series a year ago, the comments that I received, even when I've just posted lighthearted photos of my grandparents being Jews and being Holocaust survivors, the comments I have received. So it's always a challenge anytime you share anything about being Jewish, about Judaism. And then there's a whole other form of hate for Israel, separate from just your typical anti-Semitism. And it's now so popular to hate Jews, to hate Israel. It's trending. It's literally trending on these social media apps. And people just always want to hop on the bandwagon and want to go along with what is popular and what is trending. So unfortunately, that is what's happening right now. And it's only getting worse. And that's why I know I have to continue and never stop talking about this and never stop posting about this.
And is it about making a change or simply the urge to tell the truth out loud?
I think I've already made a change. It's not as big as I want, of course, but I've even received messages and comments of people after seeing my videos saying, thank you for educating me. Thank you for opening my eyes. And also when they hear these personal stories, I think it's really opening their eyes more instead of just being like, oh, this was an attack event, like that they weren't personalizing these people and humanizing these people. And so already I think we're making a difference. My following is people of all around the world, all ages, all races, all ethnicities. So you're really, getting to people that might not be taught this. They might be only hearing on one side of it. And this is not about sides. Me posting is not about people taking sides. It's about humanity and what is right. That's all.
So you came here to Israel. Tell us about the most powerful moments here.
The entire trip was the most emotional trip. But something that stood out to me the most is despite all the devastation, despite all the heartache that the whole entire state is going through, everyone still had so much hope and so much pride. And to meet these people that have gone through so much and for them still to give me the biggest hug and still to feel comfortable enough sharing their stories with me and still not even talk with so much hate in their hearts. That's something I always, question about my grandparents also after going through everything they went through in the Holocaust, after seeing their family get killed right in front of them. How could they still have love inside of them? How could they still have hope and find joy in anything? And I think that's something about the Jewish people throughout time is that we're so resilient and we don't give up. And no matter what, we keep going.
Now, you mentioned the Holocaust, and we spoke with you some time ago about your activity regarding telling the story about the Holocaust. How do you relate to the discussion about the comparison between the Holocaust and October 7th?
Why I compare it a lot is because I grew up hearing my grandparents' stories my whole life. I've obviously watched all the movies, seen all the films. I went to Auschwitz. What is happening now, obviously there was no social media back then, but what is happening now are almost identical stories to what my grandparents told me of what happened. I've had friends that I've been friends with forever, share things that I'm so shocked at of what they're sharing, or talk to or message me about what I'm sharing. And it's like divided a lot of people. And that's what happened back then. I mean, my grandparents told me stories about they had friends their whole life. And the second the announcements came out about how terrible the Jews were and about really when the Holocaust was starting, everyone turned on him and started spitting on him and saying, "You dirty Jew," friends that he grew up with his whole life before that. So the propaganda also, if you look at propaganda from back in the day, the propaganda that is happening now, it's kind of scary, the similarities. And everyone says the Holocaust will never happen again. My grandparents always told me that if the state of Israel was around during the Holocaust, I don't believe it would have ever been able to happen. And that's why Israel is so important, and for so many, so many, so many reasons. And that's why this needs to be taken seriously, and people need to stop just brushing it off. And that's why it's been almost 3 months, or I'm not sure the exact day right now. And I'm still talking about it every single day, and I won't stop talking about it. We can't stop talking about it. We can't just go, live our normal lives and ignore that this is happening, no matter where you are in the world.
So you're talking to us from LA. Do you plan to come back?
Oh my gosh. I literally cried when I had to go and to head to the airport. I did not want to leave at all. I had to get back for work that I had here, but I am hoping to get back very soon because it was just the most incredible, incredible, incredible place. I only went 10 years ago before this on birthright, actually. So it was amazing to come back. And despite everything, despite how hard it was, it still was just incredible. And I wish every single person in the world could go visit Israel, because I think all these misconceptions about it, I think if people went and if they saw the diversity of people that live there, if they saw everyone living together in peace there, if they saw all the opportunities that anyone, no matter who you are, can have there, I think people's minds and perspectives would be changed a lot.
And it's even more than that, right? People probably asked you if you're scared to come to Israel, but then when you come, you feel safe. You feel safe to be at home, right?
I literally said that. I said, I feel safer here than I do in the US. And everyone thought I was crazy. I wear I have some of them off right now, but I wear all my jewelry and all my rings. And everyone's always like, "Are you scared to wear that? Or are you sure you want to wear that around?" And in the US, it's like a scary place now to be wearing your Magen David's and putting your mezuzahs on your door. And there, it's like everywhere you go, everyone is like flashing it and so prideful and so proud. And every store and every restaurant has the mezuzahs and has the flags and has the stars. And you just feel so at home. And I said this in another interview, but despite all the insanely negative and scary messages and comments that I do receive from posting about this, the love that I received in Israel from people just coming up to me on the streets and hugging me and thanking me, and the messages I receive from them, that's what keeps me going, and knowing that I'm doing it for the people of Israel. I'm doing it for Jews around the world, and I'm doing it for our ancestors that didn't have a voice back then. So yeah, I never felt more at home and safer than I did in Israel.
Okay, a few words about what you're doing on social media, Montana. How do you balance between, dancing and having fun with all these important and powerful and meaningful messages that you're posting these days? And not only these days, it must be hard.
It definitely is. I mean, I'm just going to go based off of how I feel about it. It's been very hard for me to want to do anything else since October 7th besides talk about this and post about this. Dancing is my passion. I love to dance. I love to make people happy. I love to perform. I love to sing. I love to act. I love all these things so much. And I've tried. I'm still struggling with posting my fun dance videos, even though it's what I love, and even though it's what I should be doing to show people, look how incredible we are and resilient we are. We're not giving up, and we're not going to give up on the things we love. And I'll never give up on that. But it's definitely been difficult for me because this is all I can think about and all I can do. And I just don't want to stop until all the hostages are returned.
You even recorded a special dance here in Israel.
Yes. And I actually did get to do a dance flash mob in Israel. We had about 100 dancers, and we dedicated it to Mia Shem, who I actually just posted a video with today. I got to visit her. I was so inspired by her and her story, and I got to meet her and hang out with her a little bit when I was there. So we dedicated the flash mob to her. I haven't posted it yet, And I actually had a survivor of the Nova Festival, Noam, who's now become one of my friends who I love and adore so much. I shared her story, and she told me she'd love to dance after our interview. So I invited her to do the dance flash mob with us, and it was just so beautiful.
Okay, Montana, thank you so much, and we'll hopefully see you soon in Israel.
Thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait to hopefully meet you in person in Israel.